Cubs Postgame from the Sombranzo Show.
And welcome to the Cubs and Pirates postgame. My name is Danny Rocket. I am joined here with Pirates fan and embarrassed Bucks fan, Brian Ziegler, my good friend for many, many years, and a long-suffering Pittsburgh Pirates fan. But we decided that we would do a little post-game on what is one of the weirdest games I think we've ever experienced. There's things in it happen that haven't happened maybe in either one of our lifetime, like 6 straight bases loaded walks. That is not really usual. But first, Brian, how you doing? How's your Saturday going?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, you're definitely right about the suffering. That the Bucks can make you suffer when they win. I mean, today was really painful, and they didn't deserve to win at all.
Neither team really deserved to win. It was a badly played game. It was a 2 hour and 56-minute baseball game with a 2 hour and 20-minute delay in the middle of it. And it was just wild in general. I mean, it had a lot going on with it. Everybody abuzz. Paul Skenes already crowned like basically the new Cy Young. He's going to win it every single year. There's no doubt in the mind. Future Hall of Famer Paul Skenes. The story is there with the girlfriend and the influencer and but let me ask you.
Yeah.
You've had good pitchers roll through Pittsburgh over the last decade even. And they all end up Yankees. Paul Skenes, are you excited about this kid or the guy yesterday too?
Jared Jones. Jones is solid too, and he didn't quite have it all together yesterday. But both of these guys are really mature for their ages. I mean, if you hear Skenes interviewed, he sounds like a 40-year-old man already.
I mean, he's definitely has a 40-year-old mustache. Like that mustache is at least from the 1978, 79. I want to say he borrowed that thing from or some porno.
He's got a great
Linda Lovelace
porn.
Yeah, Linda Lovelace action.
But the thing about him is, I don't look. I'm not going to pretend he's not going to be on another roster 7 years from now, but he doesn't give me that Garrett Cole vibe. I understand if players can't wait to get out of Pittsburgh, but the thing is, Garrett Cole let you know it from day one. He was waiting for that bag from the Yankees, and whatever. He gave the Pirates some good years, but I get the feeling that Skenes is going to give us everything he's got as long as he's here. He's a different kind of cat.
Well, he seems Pittsburghy.
He does. He does.
Like he'll fit in out there. Well, everybody's all abuzz about it, and the way the game starts is with him basically mowing down the Cubs. He strikes out Mike Tauchman to lead off. Then Seiya Suzuki strikes out swinging. So it's the crowd's going nuts. Like that must be the most fans that were in PNC Park since maybe the wild card game of 2015.
The Cueto game, since the Cueto game at the very least. Yeah.
Then he walks Bellinger, who kind of fought him off. It was an 8-pitch at bat. Finally gets a walk, but he's hitting 101. Cody's following him off. 102 outside. The kid's got a freaking arm. And then Christopher Morel in a ball that would have been out of most parks, I think. Yeah. And Pittsburgh, I'd say it plays fair. It's weird, but it plays fair.
It is weird, and if you want to stack yourself with left-handers if you can, but overall it plays about fair.
And but 107 miles per hour out the bat from Morel. The first pitch, he hits a 95.8 mile per hour slider, and it just doesn't go far enough. Michael Taylor catches it.
Right.
And so you're right there. Ready to you're showing that Skenes is touchable. These guys can catch up to 100.
Yeah, he is. But I think the thing that makes him different. I mean, Kyle Nicholas can hit 100 too. But it doesn't help if it doesn't go over the plate.
Yeah, it's got to go over the plate. You got to throw it for a strike, and you have to have a secondary pitch to play against it. Which I mean,
right, which he does.
Yeah, like a 92-mile-per-hour sinker that he throws, which is just like impossible,
absurd. Yeah,
so the splinker, isn't that what they were?
Yeah, it's a split finger sinker. Yeah.
I got the splinker once from a doctor
in high school. Oh,
exactly. Oh, they gave me the splinker. Ended up with my head in the toilet.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, if you're throwing 100 miles an hour and anyone does catch up to it, it's going to go a ways.
Well, especially Christopher Morel can turn that thing around, and he hit it. He hit the shit out of it. And then the bottom of the first, Andrew McCutchen walks. Now, what do you think about Kutch being back? Like, is he like a mentor? He doesn't seem like the old Kutch.
The thing is, he's always started slow. But even among friends of mine who are real fans, people are thinking this is probably the farewell tour. Look, he's a bucko for life. I mean, he's going to be a coach or a scout or something. But I think they're getting to the point where, and it's funny, just about all my takes were wrong as I was going through the game today. But just as I was thinking he's done, he knocked one out again.
Well, yeah, not only does he knock one out, but he's 2 for 4 in the game. Dude. So here's a dude that goes 2 for 4, but he's in this game against the Cubs, but is batting 187 on the season. This guy, his entire freaking career. And I'm looking it up right now, how he just freaking absolutely annihilates the Chicago Cubs on a regular basis. It has his entire career. I'm looking it up here right now. He is batting against the Cubs. Here's his slash line: 280, 378, 475 for an 853 OPS. That's actually only 5% better than him as himself. But still, he's always been a Cubs killer. 28 home runs against us. I mean, throughout his career, and it's been a great career. But he's back. He's worth negative WAR right now. Yeah, but
I'd love to say that's going to change. I mean, I think last year was something of a fluke. He really came back last year, and I think part of that was just the excitement of being in Pittsburgh again. But at 37, he never had the big power game that can continue to play this long. He always had a good eye, and that's still there. I mean, he's still drawing some walks. But look, he can stay around. He can be the 26th man on this team until he's 50 if he wants to be. But I mean, I think you got to consider the role. And they just don't have the outfielders or anyone else to put at the DH position right now. When Connor Joe is your best hitter, and I don't even mean to crap on the guy. He's had a ridiculously good year, but if he's your number 3 hitter, there's more roster construction issues than just Kutch.
Well, I mean, yeah, and the Pirates are an up-and-coming team. You've got a few bats. That O'Neal Cruz, obviously, he's coming back from. He was injured, right? And and then you had who's the other guy, the third baseman? He didn't play today, but
no, he just went on the IL. He hurt his back. Brian Hayes.
Yeah, Brian Hayes. Yeah, and this just in, by the way, from Bleacher Bum 007 FR Life. Kyle Hendricks now starting tomorrow. And if you haven't heard about what's happening with Kyle Hendricks, he's coming back from an injury, and he's got an ERA over 12 from the few starts he had. So maybe it was the injury that was making him suck ass. But speaking of glue factory, the Andrew McCutchens of the world, you're like, you start wondering hey, this dude, make him a coach. He's our dude for life. Love him forever. Right. Kyle Hendricks, the last guy on the team that won the World Series with us. He's it. He's the only one left. So it's but still, you kind of wonder what he's got left in the tank, and Kutch too. But so in this one, Justin Steele on the mound for the Cubs immediately walks McCutchen. Had a kind of a rough first inning. Does get Brian Reynolds to strike out. Connor Joe, your number 1 OPS leader. He lines out. to Ian Happ, and then O'Neal Cruz grounds out. So not a clean inning by any means. Then in comes Skenes for a second inning of the world work, gets Happ to ground out. Happ looks a little overmatched these days, specifically against Skenes today. And then Nico Horner got hit by a pitch, which that can't feel good. 94-mile-per-hour splinker in the ribs. And then Michael Busch walked. So, the whip, he hits a guy, walks two in his first 2 innings. And then you get Miles Mastrobuoni, who just comes up from the minor leagues to wreak havoc in this game.
He did.
He has no business even being on the team. And here he is, like, catching up to 101. And Mastrobuoni actually goes 3 for 4 in this game with a ribby. So just game of his life. In fact, I believe that was he had his first 3 hits of the season.
Yeah. He was over for the whole year, I think, until
which is why they sent him down, because he was terrible. They're like, hey, we need this team to get a little worse. Let's bring up Mastrobuoni. Up he comes, and it was the right move because he just kills Pittsburgh. Then Yan Gomes fails to bring anybody in. There's another one that you're like, how much longer do we have with this 36-year-old catcher before, are we going to get through the whole season? Doubtful. And then, so he fails to bring anybody in, and we needed every run. If we would have just capitalized on any of these situations against Skenes, if Morel's ball is hit to a different part of the field, it goes out. It's a 2-run shot in the first inning against Skenes, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. Tachman grounds out. Second inning, Pirates go 1-2-3 against Steele. He settles in. Top of the third, Seiya Suzuki is back from the IL, and it's nice to have him back. A bit of a sight for sore eyes. Goes 2 for 5 in this game. Now batting .313. So he comes in, strikes out in the third, and then Bellinger for his second strikeout of the game, I believe. He struck out in the first 2. Bellinger flew out. Morel catches up to 1 and singles, and then there was a tag play at second base as Morel slid very poorly into second base, did not get down far enough, kind of popped up too early, jammed his knee, ends up being out. Well, Ian Happ was batting and comes back into the game, but then gets taken out of the game later because he was hurt. And I just want to bring this up because Christopher Morel was later in the game replaced with Nick Madrigal, who, Madrigal, let's see, he went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So it would have been nice to have Morel. I mean, especially against Aroldis Chapman later in the game, a little foreshadowing, 101 down the freaking middle.
Yeah.
Nick Madrigal was Nicky too late, on that one. So then bottom of the third, a lot more trouble after a 3-run homer gets hit. And Jared Triolo struck out. Michael Taylor singled. Andrew McCutchen singled. Brian Reynolds struck out. And then with 2 outs, Connor Joe,
of all people,
you could see why he's the OPS leader. He home runs and everybody scores. Then back to back. This probably hasn't happened since 2015 either.
And I tell you, Cruz is, if he ever figures how to make consistent contact, he's just like that swing. It was like he was hitting a fungo. I didn't think it was out. You got that. First of all, being a lefty, as you said, advantageous in that ballpark. The Rivers, calling for a ball. And what kind of surprised me though, O'Neal Cruz, I can't believe he's been up for now 3 years. So what's going on with him figuring it out? I feel like he just got here, but 3 years goes fast. You were talking about the youth of the team, and they ain't that young anymore. Brian Reynolds is 29. Cruz is 25. We've been fed this kind of look. They're coming. We promise they're coming for a couple of years. And it was, when you look at the pedigree of some of these guys, and then you call up Hank Davis and it's like, he can't hit a barn. That's, he can't hit a barn standing still. So, you're right. At 25, it's about time to figure out how to hit major league pitching. And I think he's been relying on power and style. If he was anyone else, they would have had him off a shortstop already.
Yeah, how's the fielding? Because wasn't it supposed to be elite?
It's not elite. It's surprising sometimes. He's a big guy. His arm is ridiculous. I don't know that he might not play better at third. He's going to be at first base in the next year or two. I don't see any way around it.
He's an above average player, but they did make a big deal about him coming up as well.
Well, it's the power.
Like I said, the Cub Hub says the bull penis # bull penis bad. Yes, we know. For both teams. That really applies to both of us. And
I don't even know who he's talking about. Could be
exactly. Are you talking about the Cubs or the Pirates? And Bleacher Bum 007 says he just missed a go-ahead homer as well. That's Matt. I think you're talking about Madrigal. Are you talking about Matt? I'm not sure. Somebody hit a ball to the warning track later on, and it was disappointing. But so they get the back-to-back home runs, and then that's in the third. Then Steele walks Olivares. This is only a Steele's second start back since being on the IL. Looked a little rusty. I blame the fact that he now has a podcast with the Barstool guys.
That'll do it.
Every time you take your eye off the ball, it's like you start getting into podcasting, you're immediately a loser.
Yeah, right.
I know
and
that
you won't make any
personally.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Look at us right now. And that's a good time to point out that there are 2 QR codes on your screen. And if you'd like to buy Brian a 6-pack of beer, I will send him $10 if you send it to me. I'll send it right to Brian via Venmo. And what are you drinking, by the way?
Oh, Smutty Nose.
Oh, nice. So in the top of the fourth, the Cubs do jump on the board. Ian Happ struck out looking overmatched. He really did. He kind of walked back to the dugout sadly after this strikeout. But then Nico Horner caught up to one and hit the ball over that short fence in left. Went right into the first row. A fan made a nice play on it, but it was a home run. 4-1. And then Michael Busch struck out, Mastrobuoni singled, and then Yan Gomes, who did not look good in this game, also struck out. And that was the end of the top of the fourth. And
I'll tell you, though, I think this and the second inning are what makes Skenes look different to me, is both of those situations, second inning, it would be a very Pirate thing to do to give up a bases clearing double and then a home run, and it's 5-0 in the game.
That's what I was hoping for.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, Skenes is so stoic. He's just, all right, bases loaded, 1 out. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. And he did not. And the Cubs, they did have their opportunities, like we said, but Skenes, he pitched in big games in college, and it's not like the guy's like 18 or something. Like he's had a lot of experience at high level of play. Now he's a Pirate. He was probably on better teams in college than the Pirates. You know what I mean?
Well, in the Air Force for sure.
Yeah. So, and then the Pirates, they add on in the bottom of the fourth, Grandal singles, Triolo lined out, and then Michael A. Taylor homered, and it's now 6-1 Pirates. It really it's looking over for the Cubs. Steele gets out of it with a fly out from McCutchen and Reynolds, and then the Cubs go out in the fifth, and this is where the wheels really fall off for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Now, what did I text you at 6-1? It was 6-1 Pirates. And I texted you, this game ain't over.
This game, yeah. Well, the other day you also predicted that it was going to be a 1-0, a 1-0 extra inning, 13-inning loss as well. So, yeah, no, I got to go. You said, good thing I didn't have the under of 16.5. You said, this is embarrassing even for us. Pirate luck would be having this game rained out because they couldn't get one out, or nothing like falling apart on national TV. I can't watch. Yeah, all these. Oh, and you also said this game ain't over. Bullpen was supposed to be a strength, but it's been a mixed bag. Skenes is so good he held off the rain until right after he left the game. And that's what happened. Like, it started to rain as soon as he left. But the first thing that happened was that Mike Tauchman doubled. And he would, because Skenes wasn't out of the game yet, right?
No.
He came in after this happened. So Tauchman doubles. Suzuki singles at that point. Then Kyle Nicholas comes in,
Right. Oh, boy.
Strikes out Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
People forget that he struck out our best hitter just about first.
I mean, well, the thing is, he's got stuff. He just has no idea where it's going.
Then he struck out Christopher Morel.
Yeah.
Also a great hitter on the Chicago Cubs. Probably shouldn't have been in there at that point of the game with it if his knee was that banged up. Then he hit Ian Happ with a pitch, and all hell broke loose. And he hit him with that first pitch. Then Nico Horner walked, and that was on 4 pitches. Then Michael Busch also walked on 4 pitches. Then now at this point, we're starting to score. Well, Nico Horner walked, and the bases were loaded at this point. So Nico Horner walks, then we score Tauchman. Then Michael Busch walks, and we score Suzuki. That was also on 4 pitches. Then Miles Mastrobuoni, he walked on 4 pitches. Now, I don't know what it was going to take to come get this freaking guy. Like, he's just out there, struck out the first 2, and then walked everybody in. But it didn't help because Josh Fleming came in and walked Yan Gomes. This time, it took 5 pitches.
He did get a strike. So you got to give him that.
Yeah, and then Mike Tauchman singled. That scored another one, and it just is a shame that the Cubs couldn't get any more. Well, they did get one more. Seiya Suzuki walked. This
2 hours
with
later.
Colin Holder, and this was 2 hours later. Oh, yeah, that's right. I've skipped a huge part. 2 hours of – actually, I took a nap. How did you spend your time?
Yeah, it's funny. I did too. Do you know there was a tornado out there? Like, not in Pittsburgh, but in Allegheny County. It was a tornado warning. I think 1 touchdown. That would have been wild.
Maybe they could blame the bullpen's control problems on the tornado. Well, there was a breeze.
Low pressure. Yeah.
So then we sit there for 2.5 hours, and the game is now tied 6-6. We come back out. Colin Holderman couldn't hold her man because he walked Seiya Suzuki after replacing Josh Fleming. Cody Bellinger also walked. It's now 8-6. Like, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, before that, I believe second to last walk, they said that it hadn't happened since 1974 in a Cubs game.
Wow. Okay.
That many had been walked in a row. Like, the pitcher just couldn't find the zone. It was just like walk after walk after walk. I don't know. We'll probably hear in the morning about how historic that was.
I mean, I go to AA games. There's a couple of AA teams within the Portland and New Hampshire within an hour here. So, like, I go to AA games a lot of weekends. I've never even seen anything like that down there, partially because the manager will yank you before you've walked in, half the other team's lineup.
I mean, that's what I was waiting for. But, they've already burned a bunch of pitchers being with the rain delay. They burned a guy. Yeah. So...
Well, you know what I think it might have been, though, before the rain delay, because they knew the rain was coming. I'm surprised they got in 9 innings because they knew the rain was coming. And I wonder if maybe they were just trying to get that third out without taking the time to change pitchers. Because, they just needed one more out. And if you could somehow get it to 6-5, get the Cubs out, and then you're rained out, well, you played 4.5, home team's winning.
Exactly.
That's ball game.
Yeah, that might have been that way. Yeah, it did not. The Cubs would go up, and then Nick Madrigal comes in, and that's like a huge freaking deal, because he lined out to center, and freaking Morel already with a hit in the game, already with a freaking long freaking ball to the warning track in the first inning, and so. You'd much rather have him at the plate than Nick Madrigal, and then he remains in the game at third. Keegan Thompson comes in for Justin Steele with his – I mean, he's got the same shitty mustache that Skenes has. It's a thing.
They can start a club. I just hope they don't do any movies together. That's
Yeah.
I don't need to see that.
No, you don't want to see it, but I guarantee it would sell.
No, it would.
It might be the most popular movie in its category. So, Keegan Thompson comes in, strikes out Connor Joe, gives up a double to O'Neal Cruz, who had himself a game. Then he strikes out Olivares and then walks Nick Gonzalez and then Yasmani freaking Grandal, the ghost of
all people.
Somehow freaking puts and I thought it was I forgot about the walk. I think I missed it. And so I'm like, oh, it's freaking tied. Then I looked, it was 9-8.
Yeah.
So the Pirates had scored 9 times. And hold on.
9 times.
It needed to happen.
Yeah.
And then and then Keegan he kept sucking. Walks Triolo, grounds out, Taylor grounds out, and it's finally over. But now the Cubs are losing, and they really would continue to flail at the plate from then on in against the Pirates bullpen somehow. Ian Happ grounded out. Nico Horner was called out on strikes. Michael Busch walked. Miles Mastrobuoni flew out. Going to the 6th. And then you get Richard Lovelady. Dick
Nice.
Lovelady on the mound.
He could be in the movie too. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. Oh, he'd fit in. He'd fit right in. So he, I believe, is out of options. And
Okay.
I feel like his only option is an assistant managerial position at Applebee's. It is not on a baseball field pitching a baseball, because he comes out and he gives up a home run to the ghost of Andrew McCutchen. 10-8 Pittsburgh. Brian Reynolds doubles. Then he gets Joe to fly out and O'Neal Cruz and Edward Olivares to ground out, but damage done. Pirates pull away a little bit more. And in comes old friend Aroldis Chapman, which, is there any mother in the world happier than Aroldis Chapman's mother for what she's going to get for a present tomorrow from her son Aroldis, which is a nice boob squeeze.
Yes. What a weird signing that was.
I thought what a weird mother-son relationship is what I thought you were going to say, but sure, signing, sure. Well, you obviously signed him to trade him.
Yeah.
What's the contract? How much did he get?
$10 million 1 year.
So you get $5 million out of him. Everybody shows up. You pretend you're trying, and then you trade him off, and somebody takes the rest of the money.
Yeah, but the thing is, he hadn't been that good this year.
All right. He's older.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it was a very weird. I'd rather they had spent it on a first baseman, frankly, but that's a discussion for another hour.
David Elliott says Lovelady still has one option year. Well,
wow.
Use it.
Okay.
Use it. Send him down to freaking rookie ball. Teach him how to pitch because he stinks. So what inning were we in?
Just the 6th.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the 7th. We're in the 7th now because Aroldis Chapman comes in to replace Holderman, who couldn't Holderman. He strikes out Gomes, who just did not look good in today's game. Mike Tauchman then walked. Suzuki singled. Cubs have it going on again, but Cody Bellinger flew out to Michael Taylor as Mike Tauchman stole third and Suzuki stole second. Nick Madrigal also struck out swinging. And that was the one that was rough for me. That was 101 down the middle. Right down the middle.
Yeah.
And, I think Morel catches up to that. Nicky Madrigal does not. And in comes Jose Cuas, who they just brought back because Yency Almonte is hurt, which stinks. Although Yency Almonte has been up and down with being good. Cuas has definitely not been good, but he was good in this inning. He just gave up a single, but he did get a strikeout of Michael A. Taylor and got Yasmani Grandal to pop out and Nick Gonzalez to line out. But Hunter Stratton, then it was just like you were just bringing them all out, all the greatest hits. Stratton comes out.
Someone's got to be able to get the ball across the plate.
Well, and he was the only one that did. He's 1-2-3 inning for him.
Yeah. Stratton looked good.
Happ flew out. Horner popped out and Michael Busch struck out. So now Stratton, like, who's he?
He was just a kind of ham and egger until last year. Just good control guy. His stuff's okay. But he's not one to walk 6 guys in a row. Just good setup guy.
16th rounder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, he's 6'4", big guy.
I almost said the Steelers. Pirates just love tall pitchers for some reason.
It helps to be tall as a pitcher.
Yeah.
It helps to be tall in life, unless like you're too tall and you're, can't fit under showers at the hotel and things like that. You're bumping your head on chandeliers and things.
Yeah, but he's kind of, Holderman was kind of supposed to be the 8th inning guy, Holderman or Chapman, depending on the handedness. And he's kind of taken over from Holderman, just because he's got a little better control.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw that kind of the hit and miss. I mean, you said the Pirates were supposed to have a strength of a bullpen.
Yeah.
It's been hit and miss. Isn't that every bullpen? Like
it is, but there were a couple of years back in the playoff years where, just 7th, the Pirates had that Yankees 7th, 8th, and 9th kind of thing going on, where if they got to the 6th with the lead, you were going to have a real tough chance of beating them. And that is definitely not the case this year. There's really no one. We had closer trouble again tonight.
Yeah, that was the team with Mark Melancon.
Yep.
You had Garrett Cole was on that team. Liriano was a starter on that team.
Yeah. He was a great reclamation project for that team.
Charlie Morton.
Yeah. Ground Chuck.
Yeah, and so who are you talking about as like your back end? I know that you're not talking about like Antonio Bastardo or something.
No. Wait here, I gotta.
So I'm looking at the 2015 Pirates.
My brain isn't good enough to remember.
I thought it was Joe Blanton.
Nah.
Who's your leader? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. All right. So we're talking about Caminero.
Archimedes Caminero, yeah.
Yeah, Tony Watson.
Yeah, Watson was a real good. And
191.
None of them were blow you away kind of guys. But it was just. Oh, that's right. Cervelli was on that team. They were still trying to make something out of Pedro Alvarez. But yeah, okay, right. Okay, the team. And that when you look at, like, to take 2015, you look at the number of games these guys all pitched. Hughes pitched 76. Even that was like Bastardo's one good year.
Yeah, Jared Hughes, 76 games.
Yeah,
that is insane. Yeah, all of them. Like all these dudes, I can't believe they stayed healthy. Melancon was in 78 games that year.
And they had a handful of years where they were taking just good, solid right-handed guys and making, like, Jason Greeley was a shutdown closer for these guys for a couple years, and he wasn't a shutdown closer before or since. But somehow, and Melancon continued. His career as a closer went on for a while after he left. And they just had that bullpen you could count on.
Yeah, and it was Derek Shelton was not the manager then, right?
No. It was the guy they just tried, Clint Hurdle.
Clint Hurdle. Oh God, I hated that guy. Just sitting there chewing on his
with the gum. Yep.
Oh God, he was.
I forgot his name already. That's
so disgusting. That man. So then, anyway. in the 8th. Actually, the Quas comes back out, did a nice job. He did give up the one hit, but in the 8th, he got him 1, 2, 3, struck out McCutcheon. Well, not 1, 2, 3.
Sort of 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Walked Reynolds and then got the double play of Connor Joe, which is incredible because he is your OPS leader, as we've been pointing out.
And number 3 hitter.
Yeah. Top of the 9th, Cubs last chance.
Oh, boy.
And David Bednar, who's a heck of a closer as well, but has had his struggles this year.
He has been until this year, yeah.
Immediately gives up a double to Mastroboni. Then Jan Gomes singled and made it 1st and 3rd. Pete Armstrong ran for Gomes, that's what you got to do when you got a 36-year-old catcher as the tying run in the 9th. Mike Tachman then hit a sac fly, which kept our man PCA at first base. It is now 10-9. We have pulled in within one. This is why this game is so frustrating to a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Because PCA gets into scoring position, steals second base. Suzuki grounds out. PCA, the tying runs at third base. And then Cody Bellinger, our best hitter, who I thought they were going to walk. They did not walk.
Right.
And he was already taken off his shin guard and everything, ready to go down there. And instead of pitching to our phenom, Nick Madrigal, who had already looked overmatched all game long as a hitter, they decided to face Bellinger, who actually hit the ball pretty well, but it was right at the right fielder.
It was Sawinski at that point.
Yeah,
they brought him in for defense. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the game was over, and a game that neither team deserved to win was won by the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the series is evened up. Do you have any pride in this game? Or
no? Well, I tell you what, Danny. True story. One of the things I did during the rain delay was I just hopped on Facebook, and I didn't intend to do it, but I unfollowed the Pirates because they had all these happy, during the rain delay, all these happy posts about how well Skenes had done. And I'm like, no, after that meltdown, you will not fill my feed with happy PR posts. You know.
Yeah. Well, I saw that even MLB, they weren't the only one, and they're all in lockstep on this stuff. But even MLB was like, dear Skenes debut, just incredible, and it really wasn't. He's got a 6.75 ERA because those runs were charged to him, those two that he put on.
Which that's just ain't right.
So he gave up 3 runs through 4
innings. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
4 plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get an out in that.
No, not in the fifth. No.
So, yeah, kind of, but you got a dude up now. He's obviously very talented. He's going to win you some ball games.
Yeah.
He's going to be a thorn in the side of the National League.
Yeah. And I don't think, from the second Strasburg came up, people were talking about his funky delivery and man, his arm's going to fall off. And it did.
It did. Yeah.
Who knows? He's one game into his career, but I really think Skenes is going to make more, hopefully have a longer career and not have his arm fall off. I like his motion more. It's not jerky.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more of like a straightforward kind of pitching, repeatable delivery, and and he throws hard. But you wonder if he ends up. Sometimes a guy that throws that hard doesn't stay a starter too,
right?
And
just
because it's hard to throw. Not a lot of Nolan Ryans out there. If you hadn't noticed, some dude that could just pump it. Over and over repeatedly.
But I think the nice thing about his game is his repertoire. Sure, the fastball is setting up the curve and the change and the splinker.
I feel dirty when you say that.
I do too. That's why I keep saying it.
Give him the splinker. It's like the
but,
shocker.
I think he's one of those guys who might be able to Maddox himself later in his career and just become a control guy once,
he's going to drop 11 miles per hour.
Well,
that would be problematic, I believe.
But even if he did, I think he's got the control to be a decent pitcher when he loses a couple miles an hour, later on, because you can still, if you've got those pitches that are 5-6 miles apart all the way down, you're still 5-6 miles apart. You're still deceptive enough. And if you've got the control, you go down to just a 97 mile an hour fastball later in your career. Hopefully you can still maintain.
Yeah. Well, even Aroldis Chapman, who we saw pitch today, we're talking 8 years ago that he was pitching for the Cubs.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago. And the reason he stuck around in the league is not only because he had one of the liveliest arms that ever existed in Major League Baseball, but he was a starter for the Reds when he came up. He started, he wasn't a closer right away. He was closer pretty fast, but he showed in 2016 when they needed to use him for multiple innings, that he was able to quote unquote pitch and not just blow dudes away. And that was his only thing to do. Like, he did rely on some off-speed stuff and located it for strike and was deceptive enough to be successful. So it's like, you can hang around this game a long time, though, if you throw 100 consistent.
Particularly as a left-hander, you know.
Oh, God, it's almost impossible. So tomorrow we've got Bailey Falter, which is a really terrible name for a pitcher, I would say.
It is.
Really bad.
But he's doing better this year than I mean, he looked like just another dumpster dive. And he's putting up decent numbers for number 5. You know, what is he? 4.34 in 7 starts. I'll take that from a back end guy.
And he had a gem against Milwaukee.
He did.
And he went 7 innings, 3 hit ball, only gave up 1 run, and he struck out 8. But that is really the outlier.
It is. It is.
Yeah, but mostly, I mean, he'll go 5 and give up 3.
That's it.
And he's basically your version of Jameson Tyone or something. Like, I don't know. Not really. Tyone will go 1 more inning for you, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's who's going out there, and then the Cubs have seen him a little bit. Yan Gomes mashes off this kid. 2 dongs in only 5 at bats.
Nice.
So he's your pick to click. 36-year-old catcher power. But, you know, Ian Happ's got a couple hits off him with a double. Bellinger's 2 for 4 with the double. Morel's got he's 2 for 3 with a double. So they've seen him and they've done well against him. And this is when 2 of the games they faced him were when he was with Philadelphia. So you got him coming across the state. And then, as was announced recently on this very show, Kyle Hendricks is going out there.
Right.
And he's been absolute dog crap. He's got an ERA of 12 on the dot, a FIP of 7.72. So, you know.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, exactly. It's that exactly. Basically, if you had no fielders on the field,
if you're playing wiffle ball,
so he hasn't made it out of the 5th inning. Well, he's pitched 5 innings once, and he gave up 7 runs in that start. That was his season high performance. Let's just put it that way. It's been bad.
Yeah.
He went down, had a couple of rehab starts. I'm not going to make anything out of them, but they went well. Well enough to come up. And Andrew McCutchen does not like facing Kyle Hendricks because he has seen him a shit ton. And he only has 9 hits in 43 plate appearances and only 1 home run in that time. So not very good.
It wouldn't surprise me to see them set him tomorrow. He's on. I'd be surprised if he plays 100 games this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's just kind of a ticket draw, right? I mean, like, hey, McCutchen's back. Like, that's what the commercials say. Hey, Pittsburgh, come see a guy that was on the team when we were good before.
He won an MVP once. Remember that?
Remember that? He's back.
Yeah. Oh, and that's purely what it is. I mean, he certainly pulled his weight last year. And you know, they're paying him $5 million. You know, you pay the bat boy almost $5 million.
It reminds me of when we brought Arrieta back, and it was just there was nothing left. It was just bad news. Here's Yasmani Grandal has seen him a bunch, only 3 for 19. That's a 158 average. But Key Brian Hayes freaking owns him. If you recall,
that's perfect.
Brian Hayes I believe it was his first. Didn't he hit a home run in his first at bat?
Yeah.
I believe it was against Kyle Hendricks.
And he's not a big power guy either. He's got some, but
well, he's batting 429. Connor Joe is batting 545 against Kyle Hendricks.
I'll take it. Well, you won't be seeing Key Brian tomorrow, so
yeah, so
that's
good. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so what? He's hurt. What's
wrong with him? They haven't said, or at least last I heard, they haven't said yet. Lower back pain.
Yeah. So basically, tomorrow, every Cub fan is just going to be hoping that Kyle Hendricks can get through. And this is what is being said right now by David Elliott. Hendo gets wrecked on the third time through the lineup. Yeah, that's what it's been. And here's the first time through, they're kind of making contact. Maybe they're getting little hits here and there. Second time through, they're hitting a little harder, but maybe for outs. And the third time through, they're just leaving the yard. It's just an impossible. And usually because of all the contact, the third time through, the order starts around the third inning. So it's not really good.
See, you could use him as an opener.
Well, people are wondering what to do with him. And I was like, how about a closer? You just hit him with velocity the whole game, and then you hit him with 89. And they don't know what to do. They're just way out in front at the end of the game. Then they're just hit with the slow shit, and they can't do anything with it.
What kind of contracts do you have? Are you paying him real money still, or?
They are, but it's the end of that.
Okay.
So, they're not going to be able to trade him or anything like this is.
Just, we'd probably take him.
Yeah, but
just because
here's the guy that beat us in 2015. Now he's ours, and come see our old men play baseball.
It's like you and me. It's like you and me getting on the field.
Oh God, no! I think that would be decidedly worse.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, well, I don't know. I mean, where do you expect the Pirates to end up at the end of the year?
The bats aren't as bad as they've been looking. And there really is some help coming. I'm thinking it's a 500 team, when all is said and done. I think next year
an
is
improvement.
the year. Oh, it is. It is. Hayes' hitting is going to get a little better. Hank Davis is for real. I think Cruz is going to get a little better. Brian Reynolds hasn't been playing all that well yet. I think the bats are going to come around. Yeah. I mean, beginning of the season, I really thought starting pitching was going to be the problem, and that's the only part of the team that's held up. But I think it's a 500 team, plus or minus. Well,
we can all agree that they're better than the Cardinals, and that is something that we could all be thankful for.
Yeah, that's worth a lot right there.
It is. Brian, it's been a pleasure to talk
Always
about,
a pleasure, man.
To talk about our teams. As far as other teams in the NL Central go, it's the Pirates. When they do it someday and they'll make it back to the World Series, I don't think there's going to be too many fans who will root against them. I think they'll have a lot of America's wind at their sails. Just because it has been so long, a long suffering fan base, and it's one of the best ballparks and cities. People don't appreciate Pittsburgh like they should. Like, it's really fun place to be. And so anyway, hope we beat you tomorrow, though.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you can face down Bailey Falter, but I always root for you guys when you're not playing us. And I think you guys had something similar when you won that series, that even division fans were like, all right, let them have one.
I went even in 2015, that's very same year after we beat the Pirates. Then I went and watched them play the Mets, the Cardinals, and then the Mets. And even in New York, which is not a very welcoming place for opposing fans.
Right.
I had the ushers being like, if we don't win it, I really hope it's you guys, even in New York.
Cool.
So we got a lot of that, which is why, a year later with everybody saying they said that to me in Cleveland too. Like, isn't this great? A game 7 and one of us is going to win. I'm like, yeah, us, because of your attitude, because you're already thinking like a loser, and you got to go into this stuff already having won it in your brain. So,
well, Cleveland's cursed, though. I mean, just all around. And that's not just because I lived a decade in Pittsburgh. Cleveland. Yeah.
So this song's been going through my head lately. It's the John Lackey song, I Didn't Come Here for a Haircut, I Came for Jewelry. That kind of brings us back to the yesteryear, although not 2015. I don't think he came till 16. But I'm going to play a song to kind of get us out of here.
Cool.
And once again, if you see our QR codes, you can give me $10 and I will send it to Brian. He will buy himself a 6-pack of
Smutty nose.
Mid-range
Yeah.
beer.
Mid-range local beer. Yeah.
Mid-range local beer. So, rubber game tomorrow. My 50th birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And happy Mother's Day.
And happy Mother's Day to all the moms. That's right. Yeah. So I am not a mom, as I know you are not a mom
yet.
either. Not yet.
Not
exactly.
yet.
There's still time. I'm working. I look pregnant, but it's
you and me both.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different thing. That's because of the beer that you just bought, Brian, with your $10. So, all right, we'll do it again soon, man.
All right, be good, man. Always good talking to you.
Always a pleasure.
Good luck, except for tomorrow.
Spagog.
My name is John Lackey, and I pitch for the Cubbies. And I didn't come here for a haircut. I came for jewelry. And every night I dream about wearing camouflage and gold. When we win the World Series that crazy night in Chicago. I wear diamond-studded earrings emblazoned with a Cubby C. I'll get Ernie Banks in Boston, gold and silver on my teeth. And I'll platinum plate my cowboy boots so that everyone can see that I didn't come here for a haircut. I came for jewelry. No, I didn't come here for a haircut. I came for jewelry. I'm here to be a champion and win the World Series. So don't worry about my hairdo. It looks just fine to me. 'Cause I didn't come here for a haircut. I came for jewelry. A golden necklace medallion of good old Harry Carey. Shiny red blue bracelet made of sapphires and rubies. But the ring upon my finger, it glitters and it gleams. It says Cubs World Series champions of 2016. No, I didn't come here for a haircut. I came for jewelry. I'm here to be a champion and win the World Series. So don't worry about my hairdo. It looks just fine to me. 'Cause I didn't come here for a haircut. I didn't come here for a haircut. I came for jewelry. I'm here to be a champion and win the World Series. So don't worry about my hairdo. It looks just fine to me. 'Cause I didn't come here for a haircut. I came for jewelry.